welcome back to my channel. This is Titli and you are watching TitliBee. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment and share my videos. I make book related video every week. I am going to talk about books by Indian authors. I have been talking about different kind of books, especially the books from the foreign writers, but I think I would make a video that is solely dedicated to our Indian authors. Now keep in mind, the book that I am going to suggest in this video are mostly new age books, and by new authors I am not here including some great authors like Rabindranath Tagore, Satyajit Ray and Premchand and so on. So today all the books that I am going to show are new age Indian authors, or authors that are writing in very recent times, within a decade or two. So that's the books that I'm going to suggest. Now I'm going to suggest 6 books that you must read. Every Indian should read because of their amazing literary work. Now without any further ado, let's get started. The first author that I'm going to suggest is Ruskin Bond. Now Ruskin Bond is on the first name on my list because this is the author that every CBSE student got introduced by the syllabus, and his writing style is very easy to grasp. His stories are mostly based on India. Most of the stories by his books are mostly based on Dehradun, this place where he lived back then, and his stories have so much morals on them. Not only the stories are based on his life, there are many stories like most of his stories, like the Blue Umbrella is one of the very famous story by Ruskin Bond, and there are so many little stories and the extracts of stories given in our CBSE syllabus as well. So that was how I was first introduced to Ruskin Bond, and since then I searched for his book. I read so many short stories as well as this memoir by him. This is the memoir. I loved it so much. It has some beautiful pictures of himself writing as well as at his friends and other places. So this is like one of the very beautiful memoir I have read so far. So yes, the first Indian author that I'm suggesting currently is Ruskin Bond. Now, as I said, I'm going to talk about authors in recent 2 decades, but Ruskin Bond has been writing far before that. But he is still writing, and he is one of the famous author till now in India. And I would suggest to read his book. I think his stories have so much simplicity, and that is the masterwork by him. The simplicity he brings out throughout his stories, and how it grasps you and make you think, the best speciality of Ruskin Bond. So yeah, don't forget to read Ruskin Bond. The next author that I'm going to suggest is another author that I got introduced by my school syllabus only, and that is Sudha Murty. Sudha Murty's writing style is very smart and witty, and I think she also follows the simplicity that Ruskin Bond continues with himself. So stories are mostly based on her life experiences as well on the Indian timeline and in Indian places, and most of the stories include the lives of Indian people as well as some experiences by her. Like this book is one of the book that I read so back in time that yet I remember each and every story it has, including her, how she was the only student in an engineering college, and then how she rescued 2 people from slavery almost. So yeah, this is a very good story, and she writes it from her own experiences, which makes it much more interesting and intriguing. So Sudha Murty's writing style, as I said, is very simple. So even if you are not somebody who has very good grip on English and is scared to read English book because you might not get it, I think it's good to start with either Ruskin Bond or Sudha Murty, because their writing style is very easy to read and you can easily go with the flow of their story. The third book that I am going to suggest is The Goat Thief by Perumal Murugan, but I would mostly suggest Perumal Murugan's any story, let it be short story or a book like Ponachi. So his stories, I actually discovered him last year through Bookstagram. I saw so many suggestions on this very book, The Goat Thief. So I got ahead and bought this book, and this has about 9 short stories, and all of them are mostly based on Tamil Nadu, and he is also from Tamil Nadu, and this is actually his translated work. Most of his work in English are translated. So I have heard people say that if you read the book in his language, you get the more flavor of his stories than in the translation because it gets lost in the translation. So it's always better to get hold of the book of on their own language. Now I don't know the language, so it was much more better for me to read it in English. So I read this one and I would say I loved it. His writing style is very unique because I would say Padimul Murugan explores the magical realism as well. There are many short stories where it not only explores the psychological depth of the narrators on the story, but as well as magical realism at some cases. And his writing style, as I would again say, I cannot say in proper that his writing style is very easy for English. Now this is a translated work and the translator has kept it as simple as possible so that we readers can get the flavor of the story as well as read it nicely. So this is my third suggestion, that is Perumal Murugan, but I would also suggest to read Ponachi, which is a story fully based on the narrative voice of a black coat. So it is a very beautiful personification, so I would ask you to go and read it. It is a very nice book. The fourth book that I am going to suggest you is The Train to Pakistan by Khushwant Singh. Now this book is one of those books that I would suggest everyone to read. This book is based on a small village in Punjab during the 1947 India-Pakistan partition. So this story actually explores the cruelty and the discrimination that went during that time, the brutality of human with train that comes with dead bodies and so on. So it was one of the hard read because of the things and the events that going on, but the writing style is amazing. It is, again, I would say, like the rest of the three books, is easy to read, easy to get hold on. You can read it even if you are not somebody is a pioneer in English. I am not, so it was easy to read for me, so I think you will also enjoy this book. This book's story is very heavy, so I would suggest that don't think or don't get fooled that this is such a short book. You would really take time because this is something that is going to take toll on you. But nonetheless, this is one of the book I would suggest you to a must read. So yes, this is my fourth book and I hope you go and read this and tell me if you liked it or not. The fifth book that I am going to suggest is by Arundhati Roy, The God of Small Things. I think every Indian readers once in their lifetime has heard about this book or at least read it. This book is set in the Kerala, where we talk about two brothers and sisters and their life, but that is only the one part. This story has so many layers. It not also explores the relation between the brother and sister and the relation to their whole family, but it also talk about something that we don't talk about very freely, that is the discrimination of the caste. Yes, the story actually explores about it, and also the story has many other layers, also the political timing of that time. So this book I wouldn't say is very much justified if I say it in 2 lines. So I would say go and read this one. This is a thick book and it would as well take time because it has so much content and it has so much complexity. So it is a perfect book for you. Now this book has won 1997 Booker Prize and it is one of the widely read book in India till now, I think. So go ahead for this book if you want to read a gem, if you had time. And I think while reading this story, this one actually had a little bit more complex writing than the books that I was suggesting you previously. So obviously take time while reading this book. Don't go and hurry, otherwise you won't get the whole gist and the whole importance of this story. So yes, this is one of the must read. Now the 6th book that I'm going to suggest is not a single book but a whole series, and that is The Immortals of the Meluha. Now this book, when it came along, was a huge hit, and I think more or less everyone read it. Even the non-readers were very much interested about this book. This book by Amish, actually a mythological ground on which we see Lord Shiva becoming who he is. The story begins in the 1900 BC, from where a man was selected and taken to the village who becomes later, as we know, the Lord Shiva. Now this story has a little bit of modification here and there, so if you are going to dig into it thinking that it is a full-fledged mythology, I don't think you are going to get any fun in it, but go in it with an open mind. Now this book is so great and I read these 3 books within a course of month. So I loved it so much and I have kept it because in any time in future I'm going to reread these books. I like the first book more than the last two ones, like the second and the third one, because this is where everything begins, and it was such a new experience for me. So I actually bought this one in Bengali version for my mother, so she can also enjoy it. Now this book with Amish that is very famous, and he has done so many research while writing this one. So, and when you read this, you all see that it makes sense and it is very interesting, as I'm somebody who loves reading mythology, who loves reading fantasy, and this actually came kind of together in a very amazing cocktail. So I would suggest go and read this book if you are a fan of mythology. So yes, this is the last suggestion of my book. I hope you all read all the 6 books that I suggested, and let me know in the comment how did you like it or not. Now if you want to see the review of The Goat Thief, I would put the link in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and keep watching. Till then, bye bye.